I think it was a few months ago that we felt was the right time to take this brand that we held so close to our hearts to the world. In the 2 years that I've been at Unacademy, I've had the opportunity to interact with many of our educators and learners, and honestly, those conversations played a very important role in shaping the creative brief. We had multiple rounds of discussions on what our consumer truth was, what were some of the insights that we wanted to build on, what some of our communication challenges were, and really the key proposition we wanted to have for brand Unacademy.
So the journey started 2 months ago, or a little over 2 months ago. We had an uphill task of delivering an entire TVC campaign in less than 60 days, and we had no idea, no concept. We had to call for the pitches. We had nothing in place. All we knew is we had to make a TVC for Unacademy, and we had to conceptualize everything from scratch. So we got into the pitch phase. We had about 10 agencies that came in and pitched. We shot down 7 of them. We narrowed it down to 3, and then from there we chose the one big idea of let's crack it. The emphasis being on the word let's. In the sea of sameness in this category, in the education space, we felt that the students needed a brand that they could connect with, a brand that was an enabler, was someone that was there with them on every step to kind of take them to the next level. So the word let's was very important in our campaign for let's crack it. Crack is also a lingo that students used very consistently while they were appearing for exams or trying to get to the next level in their careers. And we felt that owning the word crack and adding a let's to it, telling them that we are in it together, would empower them to move to the next level.
For me, the whole production process was also really exciting. Just being on set, obviously we had our anti-pollution masks on and we were pulling all-nighters. But the whole experience of being on that set and seeing the director and the actors tell these beautiful stories that we believed in so much when we heard it in the presentation was absolutely exciting.
Persistence, determination and passion. That's what went into making Let's Crack It happen. And the Mumbai schedule was really rigorous in terms of the team having sleepless nights, and the entire shoot went on in one small house. I think it was the same house that Suresh had used for Tumhari Sulu. So you can imagine the kind of work that went into completely transforming that house. Everybody just treated it like it was their baby. And I really feel like the films have brought so much out, and all these things contributed towards those films. The little discussions that we would have, the little insights that we would pour in after the storyboard was presented in front of us. All those insights mattered, all the discussions mattered, everything mattered, and that's how we cracked it.
So being from a production background, getting back on set and working with some of the most creative people in India, it was just an other experience altogether. The energy on set, it doesn't matter if it's 2 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning. You just work and you be on set and you focus all your creative energy in one direction. And the best part is that these guys have been in the industry for, let's say, 15-20 years and have been working in film for such a long time. So for me, just sitting around these people and just listening to them, it's like it's so much experience that I can soak in, so much knowledge that I can soak in. So that for me was it was really great. It was really nice that I got that opportunity to sit around those people and just soak in whatever they had experienced themselves. It became a part of my journey as well.
I think Leh Ladakh is a different ball game. The mountains are so raw. Everything is raw. There is nothing, you don't have, civilization is not normal like how you go to a Himachal or any other mountainous region. There's a stark difference when it comes to vegetation. Everything, it's a cold desert, but I didn't realize how cold it was until the day of the shoot. You had the people on set, the producers, the spot boys, they were just coming every 5 minutes and asking, you want hot coffee, you want Kashmiri chai, you want hot chocolate. First I was like, no, not really, like I'm okay, and that we had just gotten there. But yeah, I think every one of us were drinking something hot every 15 minutes. The actress was a very professional girl, because I used to look at her in between takes and wonder how she was not feeling cold, because I was wearing 5 layers. Whatever I had brought to Delhi and on this trip I was wearing. I had 3 pants, I was wearing all 3 pants. But the actors were very professional, and they were sitting and trying to keep warm, but did not show signs of weakness. I did. I was like, this is a real problem, and then you stop and wonder how Leh Ladakh is an army base, and it just made you stop and wonder, like, our army men are fighting there all year round, and you just have this sense of, oh my God, what are they going through? And they obviously fight much higher on the mountains. So you feel a sense of pride and honor that you're, part of these men who risk their lives every day to fight for our country. That was just a thought that passes by, I think, for everybody. Then at that point in time, our last shot is the scene where is a pan shot of the entire scene or the scenery, where there is a car, and you kind of show the audience the starkness of or the remoteness of this cafe. The director suddenly had an idea, and he goes like, how would I do a time lapse every 5 minutes up until sunset? So that means we had to be there for like another 1.5 hours, and he was just shooting the sunset, and he wanted to use that time lapse at the end of our TVC. So we did end up shooting it. We did end up using it, like a couple of seconds of the time lapse in our TVC. Overall, the shoot went very well.
If you look at the 3 creatives, they have very different storylines of different students from different geographies in the country. So if I talk about the first film, it's about determination, and it's about this girl who's in the middle of mountains somewhere in Ladakh. And we were shooting in -4 degrees or -8 degrees. It dropped towards the evening, and it was very, very cold. Camera batteries were draining. The crew was wearing out, low oxygen levels, but our spirits were extremely high. And we got this beautiful visual of these snow-capped mountains around. So the film has a very beautiful narrative. It flows in right from how she's going about her day-to-day business in a cafe or a restaurant, helping her mother through business, and then you look at her taking her books, walking out, moving into, you feel she's probably going to a class, and just at that point she gets into her car, and you see books stacked up at the back of her car, and you kind of figure out that she's made her car her classroom. And then she just connects her phone. She plugs in her phone on the holder there which is attached to the windshield, and she starts her live class. And this is sort of revolutionary in the educational space, because today students, irrespective of what background, due to their limitations, whether they're working, what kind of financial background they have, or what geographic background they come from, they can study on Unacademy and have access to the best educators. Moving to the second film, it talks about persistence. The persistence film was something that I could relate to, and I'm sure every student can. Growing up, you always search for guides and textbooks that you want to learn from a specific teacher or writer, author or educator, and you struggle to find it at times. And then you get into making copies of textbooks, kind of finding, making notes and saying, okay, these are the questions I want to prepare for. But what if you actually found the educator taking a live class for you? So that's the story in the second creative. So you see this boy who goes to the book market. He's hunting for a specific book by K.C. Chauhan. And he doesn't find the book. He has several attempts that he makes which fail. He never finds the book, only to realize later where he's sort of disappointed and in a cafeteria, and he overhears two students talk about how Casey Chauhan's live class is about to start. And that's where he is completely surprised and thrilled and happy to kind of know that Casey Chauhan is now teaching on Unacademy. The interesting thing about this campaign was we were kind of saluting the spirit of students who go out of the way, who go through the struggle of finding the book that they need to clear or crack an entrance exam. We have those educators, we have those educators on the platform, and anybody out there who specifically wants to crack a specific exam can learn from these educators. The interesting story about this campaign was it did go live and on TV. And what we realized after a specific point was when we were checking Google search trends, Casey Chauhan was a name that popped up on Google search trends when we searched for our ads. So typically people started wondering who Casey Chauhan was. Casey Chauhan is a fictional character. It's something that we made up for the ad, but it's interesting that people actually started Googling him. You can although follow Casey Chauhan on Twitter, so you can follow Casey Chauhan Unacademy. Just search for that and you'll follow him on Twitter. You can follow him on Twitter as well. The last creative was around a religion, which is cricket. So we all know cricket is a religion in India. Everything comes to stop when India is playing a match. And this story is about a boy who is making that sacrifice of not spending this time with his family, but rather spending it studying. The film opens with the mother in the kitchen making some tea, and you typically hear the father in the background just screaming in joy, and you see the mother kind of angry and upset and asking him not to make noise. So she opens the door, she walks in, and you see this boy who's studying on his study table or in his zone, and he looks at his mother waiting for an answer. He knows there's a cricket match going on. He knows India is playing a very important game, but he is busy studying. So then she tells him, "Jeet gayi teri India," and from there you see his celebration, and immediately his focus is back. You see a notification that he gets, and his focus is back to studying. So this film salutes the spirit of such students where you've made sacrifices or prioritized your education over celebrations or any occasion that was important to you. With the campaign going live, we were all very excited but extremely nervous. We broke the campaign on the YouTube masthead. And what was really interesting and exciting for us was within 24 hours, the video clocked 33.2 million views. And we were really moved by the response, the kind of comments that came in, proud to be associated with Unacademy, makes us feel proud that we are learning on this platform. Even the emotion that Unacademy changed my life was something that was coming out extensively in the comments and the kind of interactions that broke loose. It really moved us. Rarely do you get a chance through marketing, through an effort to change lives. And that's what our campaign did. It empowered students. It made them believe that there is an opportunity out there. They can level the playing field now, learn from the best educators, pursue their dreams, fulfill their dreams, irrespective of where they are, what they're doing, and what time they want to study. So I would just like to say that it's been an incredible experience, extremely a learning curve for all of us together. And the teams that were involved in it, right from the Unacademy marketing team to the McCann team that did the creatives for us, to the production house, Radhika Pictures, and Suresh Triveni, who's a fantastic director, and every soul, right from the spot boy to the makeup dada, to everybody that contributed in those extreme conditions and long shifts. A big thank you to everyone, and it wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't a team effort, and I think every single person put in their best, and that's why this campaign has sort of stood out today. The last thing I want to say to everyone who's pursuing their dreams, who's fighting against various challenges, who's making a lot of sacrifices, and to everyone who worked on this campaign, and to every student out there, let's crack it.